Hi, and welcome to Grandad on Enfield. We're going to do the same run as we done last week, so it's down to Kingsale, 58 kilometres and back. This time we're going to see what the Bullet will do, the trials. One thing does annoy me about this tank, I don't know if you can see it clearly, but that hole is tiny. And the rib of the tank, the rib of the frame is directly underneath it, so it's kind of very hard to fill it with diesel. Oh, with petrol, it'd be harder to fill it with diesel. But so we'll go down, we'll have a talk, and then we'll see what she does. I'm hoping, it's on, from what I've been reading, it's between 70 and 80 miles per gallon. So I'm hoping for about 75 miles for the gallon. But we'll see when we get there. Well, we're here. Same place as last week's video, just different bike. One thing I said on the last week's video is I said that down in Kingsale it's Camden's fault. It's not, it's actually Charles' fault. I made a mistake there, but so sorry for any confusion it caused, even though I don't think anyone noticed it. But so today we're going to talk about buying a bike. Now, I don't know about you, but I really do hate selling bikes, but buying bikes, I just, if I had the money, I'd do it all day, but I don't. So, but anyhow, so just first of all, what kind of bike do you want? Well, and what you need it for. Now, just because you're commuting doesn't mean to say you have to stick to a commuter. Just if you're going off road, you know, there's a load of bikes that do a load of different functions, but see, what do you need it for? Do you need a sports? Do you need a cruiser? Do you need a commuter bike? And then look at the insurance on different models of different bikes. You know, because that's at the end of the day, regardless of how much you pay for your bike, the insurance is every year after. And then if you're selling something with a high insurance bracket, it's harder to sell it on. Now, like I say, always compare the prices. I say I use Dundee and adverts.ie, but I also do use the publications in magazines and eBay. Now, I can't buy a bike from eBay or from it's too much hassle to import it, but it gives you a fair idea of the price and the year and what condition they should be in and what they can be in, you know. So now, where to buy it? A lot of people will only buy from a dealership. They want the peace of mind, they want the warranty. That's fine. If you're buying new, fine, no problem. But if you're buying a year or two old, you'll find the dealer will be more expensive, obviously, because you have overheads and stuff, than buying private. Now, as well, like a dealer is kind of safer, but if you're meeting someone and you're buying a bike, kind of try and either meet them at their home and make sure it's their home, not just some empty house that the owner's away for 2 weeks on holidays and they're using that as a... So, and failing that in a public place, people around, remember you could be carrying a lot of cash, and they'll know you're carrying a lot of cash because you're buying the bike or looking at the bikes. So, what to check before buying? The logbook, obviously. Make sure the seller's name's on it. Now, like I say, check the address as well. I've heard of scams where the homeowner's gone on holidays and they're using that address then because they know there'll be nobody there for a couple of weeks. And they're sitting in the car outside. Oh, I just arrived there now, and they're sitting in the van outside the door. I mean, why would the bike be in a van outside the door if, you know? Here we don't need an NCT for the bike or MOT or anything, so So just give it a good check over. Make sure you have some sort of service history if you can. Now, again, it's dependent. My Interceptor has a full service history, even though I rode in the last service myself, but it's still, I have all the receipts for it and stuff I had bought. If a bike is known to have a certain fault or had a factory recall, make sure it's had that fault sorted or the recall done. Now, on condition, some only tire, lovely bike only needs tyres, but tyres are €300 and upwards. You know, so you want to be taking that into account on the price of the bike as well. Oh, I knocked off €200 for tyres. Yeah, but it's going to cost me £3 to get them, so tell him to get the tyres on for €200 himself and then you'll buy it. But obviously brake pads and discs, chain and sprockets, again obviously make sure the chain is in adjustment and is well lubed, no tight spots, no rusting on it. Obviously oil leaks. Oh, they all leak from there? No, they don't all leak from anywhere. Just some bikes leak and some don't. Now, again, it's the old British stuff is going to leak from bloody everywhere. And don't say they don't, because I've had a good few of them. And so, if you can start the engine from cold, now, it should start easily. There should be no smoke or rattles or funny noises. And of course, check all the electrics. It's getting even more complicated on modern bikes with TFT screens and ride-by wires and all this stuff. But the basic stuff, one, the indicators, the lights, they should all work anyhow. So check them. Now, there's scam warnings as well going around. Never buy the bike without obviously seeing it. Yeah, it's perfect. I guarantee I'll deliver it to you. And they show up at 2 o'clock in the morning with a pile of crap and dump it at your front door. If you can avoid paying cash, use a bank transfer. It's fairly instant now anyhow, so you at least you have some. If there's any problems with the ownership of the bike or anything like that, you have a transaction showing you what bank account it went to and who it went to. Now, never. 2 reasons for this: never go alone. Never go alone to view a bike. The main reason is obviously safety, but also you can be taken in and kind of get excited for it and miss out on a couple of things. Now, like I've been 30 years on motorcycles, 40 years on motorcycles, and even I'll get onto that, but I got caught. Now, as well as the logbook, check the frame and engine number. An engine number could be just the engine's been swapped at some stage, but make sure it's the same engine that you wanted in the bike in the first place. But definitely the frame. If the frame number doesn't match, then no, walk away. And of course, make sure you're covered to test drive it. Now, you can buy a bike check. Motorcheck.ie will give you whether it's written off stolen or Now this is mainly for older viewers. They had a bike 20, 30, 40 years ago, and they kind of want to get back to it because it was a brilliant bike and it was fast and but sentimentality is worth exactly €0. Before, when we were buying bikes, they were old bikes or newer bikes or new bikes. There was no vintage and classic and that nonsense. You bought an old bike because it was cheap. You bought a newer bike because you had more money, and then you bought a new bike because you were virtually loaded. So before you buy a bike, you were younger. The bike was obviously younger as well. You never had trouble with it. It never refused to start. It was reliable. It was fast. It was fun. Remember, that was 10 to 40 years ago. So you have taken into account wear and tear, neglect, and how many owners took care of the bike over the years. Now, price is a real concern because it's very easy to overpay when you're excited. Check parts availability. Can you get new parts? Remember, if you can only get used parts for a bike, that supply is going to dry up at some stage, so it's not going to last forever. And lastly, you have to be honest with yourself here. Can you work on the bike? Because more and more bike shops are refusing to work on older machines. Now, if you can't, have you got a friend or know somebody that can work on it? And be honest with yourself. If I can rebuild a gearbox. I don't have any, but I don't think I could rebuild the top end, and I don't have the tools to do it. I couldn't do a piston swap and new valves and stuff on the bottom end of the engine. Unfortunately, I have more experience with. So, but enjoy the bike. Enjoy looking for it, but always remember, be prepared to walk away. I know it's hard. Look, it happened to me. I drove for I think it was 3.5 hours there to buy a Dominator 650. Now, it wasn't as described, but it was cheap, so I said, yeah, I'll look. And it was kind of rushed, and then when I got it home, I said, I'll do a service on it now and clean it up and stuff. Virtually every bolt on the whole bike was rounded off. The sump should have been a 13mm head, and the 12mm spanner was slipping on it. Fortunately, I do have a rounded head bolt removers. You tap them onto the bolt, give it a half a turn, and tap them down again. They work brilliantly. I'd highly recommend getting anyone getting a set of them if they're doing old bikes. But the pressure used to undo that, I mean, it's a wonder the sump didn't strip its threads or crack or something. So just have a look over all the major bolts. Don't be afraid to get underneath the bike, look at it, make sure there's no oil and stuff. But just keep your anxiety in check. And like I say, if you drive 3.5 hours or 4 hours, be prepared to walk away, because it could cost you a lot more in the long run. So we'll see what she'll do now for like I say, I'm hoping to get around 75 to the gallon, so we'll head back, fill her up, and I'll talk to you then. Okay, so now we're back. We'll see what it takes to fill her up. There's a fair bit gone. So that's full. So we know we have 58 kilometres, so that's what we have. 1.31 litres. Okay, I'll figure that out and I'll put it up on the screen. Thanks for watching. Ride safe, get home and ride your own ride. Grandad on an Enfield.